Coming in live from Tokelau, a remote group of atolls in the South Pacific Ocean, halfway between Hawaii and New Zealand. I am your host, Yaku of Zaku, and with me today we have El Quisquioso con la comida que sabes que la vencerá, Light_VIP. We are here with the 33rd edition of Battle of the Americas, and it is gonna be a something today. For some reason, there's an Aussie in the top, and a person from Singapore in the
yeah. What's up, Yaku? To clarify, there were a couple of people that showed up yesterday that were like, hey, where's Sentimental Latino? Namely, that was Paco Mike. If you're in the chat and you're like, hey, normally they're casting Battle of the Americas right now, and Battle of the Americas is going on right now, but unfortunately, we're not casting it. We have DreamHack upon us. Speaking of, mate, here we are.
We are here. We are here in the top left-hand corner of the map. That map being Lightshade LE, where we have the Blues coming down all the way from the land of Australia. He is the creative master himself, currently teamless, but still representing OCE Elite. We have Vivid. Old mate Vincent.
Old mate Vincent. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have a Southeast Asian Protoss player, a Singaporean Protoss, representing Downfall Gaming. It is Saiko.
So, going off entirely what I saw from yesterday, I'm going to say that Saiko is going to take this game.
So, Saiko,
Singaporean Protoss, yeah.
He's not only going to take this game,
maybe a pattern.
He's going to qualify.
Yeah, qualify. It's going to be Saiko, Quantel, who are the other C
Ranger.
Protoss players? Ranger. Mm-hmm. Those are the three that are going to qualify today, probably, based on the patterns that we've seen. Sorry, Demi and Pez.
For the people wondering in the chat who weren't with us yesterday, exclamation mark bracket in the chat. You get the Wikipedia page. You can see who qualified. And yesterday, 4 Southeast Asian Protosses made it through. It was insane.
2 from Vietnam, 2 from Singapore. It was the red flag, or red and white and yellow flag rising.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Look, there's red in both flags is what I was trying to go for.
Yep, it's all about that red. And yeah, Saiko, he's one of the few that didn't make it through, but you know what, mate? We've got another qualifier.
You do have another qualifier. And already I can sort of see from Saiko, diverging a little bit since the last time I've really been able to catch him or cast him playing. I used to remember Saiko being the guy who literally only made Stargate as his opening. And now that Stargate is popular, it's just gotten too mainstream for him.
Yeah, I have to wonder if Saiko was watching the game yesterday, because we saw a lot of Twilight Council openings, at least from Leo Rusher. It was it was disgusting. So yeah, he's opting to go for something of that nature, but we have, Vivid being a little bit annoying here, applying a bit of pressure. Could even get this Adept. Oh.
Yeah, it's not that many links, to be honest, but whatever you can do, right? Those amount of links without any adepts in your base, that can cause a lot of damage to your mineral line.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, he's doing it. Okay.
Alrighty, then. Well, we saw how a lot of these Southeast Asian Protoss players were able to qualify yesterday. Saiko, just taking another page from him. Learning from the best, and I do like that he tried to hide this Twilight Council a little bit, but Vivid, he's already onto it. Know that cannot be all you've got. You've already got a Robo out. What's your other tech structure?
Exactly. I love this. Vivid, he's on top of his scouting. He sent his Overlord into the main base. He sees the Twilight Council. He's aware, he even has an Overlord over the natural as well. He sees all the gateways. Because of this, he should realize that it's a 4-gate Adept, not a 6-gate Adept, which is what Leo Rusher was consistently doing. So this isn't going to hit as hard, and yeah, we'll see if Vivid's on top of his Adept defense.
Yeah, well, he's already got a decent amount of Zerglings, which could be enough to surround the Adepts, especially if, as you were saying, you know, Saiko only going for that 4 gate instead of 6 gate. But more importantly, the Roach Warren just finished up. The Queens jumping right on top here, really putting the bruising on top of this Warp Prism.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Lings do get a bit of surround, but that's a beefy amount of Adepts.
Yeah, the Adepts, they do commit to the shade. The Lings are looking to chase them, but there aren't that many, so Vivid, he has to wait a little bit for Roaches to come out. Luckily, there weren't any drones there in the natural expansion.
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing, is a lot of Protoss players do try to delay that natural base a little bit to make it easier on them, but in this case it kind of backfired. Doesn't really matter in the end. Vivid losing 10 drones.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of drones that went down in the main base, unfortunately. Like, he just wasn't there ready for it, and there's even a lot of dead space, so, you know, Saiko, he can just continue to warp in.
That he can. He's not yet. He's sort of keeping his options open, wants to make sure he knows exactly where the Queens are, and Vivid is aware of this Warp Prism.
Yeah, he does.
He'll be able to chase it away at the very least.
Yeah, he does make sure he's under it to make sure there's no more warp-ins. Again, 10 workers went down, and oh god, even a Queen as well in recalls.
Yeah. I do think that Saiko could have, you know, tried to maybe gamble a little bit, get a little more damage there, maybe even the spawning pool, but he did make a smart decision. He knows that Vivid is looking to go for this counterattack, so he will be recalling his depth, so making a quick little warp in, and where I'm looking at this light, Saiko is just so far ahead. Look at that worker difference.
Yeah, honestly, I love what he did, like, with the recall, because it's like, you know what? I killed 10 workers, I killed the Queen, I did the damage. I'm just gonna go home and make sure my third is, like, perfectly safe, right? It's safe and secure. Gonna get that lead and just continue to get more of it.
Yeah, the funny thing about doing this sort of early game harass like that is you can get to a point of diminishing returns. You know, those Adepts maybe to kill the spawning pool there, but how many Adepts are you going to lose to that? You know, if Vivid decides, you know what, I'm not going to fight these Adepts with my Lings, I'm going to send them across the map, how many probes are you going to lose to that? So Saiko, I think, made the absolute right decision there.
Yeah, definitely. It was more of a, like, I feel like a very safe decision. I feel like, you know, someone like Zest probably wouldn't do that. They just continue to commit to the Adepts. So yeah, but we do have Vivid pushing across the map with these Roaches. Doesn't quite yet have Roach speed, but he is here, and the army's on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and remember, Saiko only recently used that recall. He doesn't have it available to him right now. He can only now return, or slowly start returning. Try to split up his army a little bit. The Adepts in the forward, and the Immortals back home, and it looks like this is a prime base for damage, but so is this third base for Saiko.
Oh god, and this is a little bit worrying because all the Adepts went across the map, so these Immortals, they are a little bit vulnerable, but with all the force fields of Roaches, they're just pushed back.
Yeah, 2 Immortals is still pretty scary, especially fresh ones that are near a shield battery like that. And Vivid, I think, has been doing a decent job of, you know, rallying the drones, mineral walking them back and forth, but Saiko is not satiated.
No, he's not. He completes the shade into the main base as well. There's nothing here. More drones are going down, and the problem is that Vivid, when he counterattacked with those Roaches, he depowered some structures, but he didn't kill any probes.
I blinked and I saw Saiko's or Vivid's dead drone count go from 3 to 11. That's a lot of damage.
Oh my god, that's maybe too much damage as, like, more and more Adepts are continuing to shade into the third base as well. Vivid does react, but again, he may not be losing some workers, but again, more lost mining time.
Indeed he is. I mean, just looking at the worker count, it's kind of hard to imagine a scenario where Saiko loses this. I will say that it is still possible, you know, to sort of throw this game. Saiko has a slightly worse army right now, so if he aggro's a little bit too much or tunnels a little bit too much, then Vivid has a very brief opening to counterattack. But again, Saiko has just been playing this so cautiously. Does not taken too many unnecessary losses here.
Yeah, definitely, especially because, like, the next wave of lava that was used was to re-drone up from Vivid. Like, if maybe he had spent it on nothing but units, then maybe he could have gone for, like, a big all-in or something of that nature, but instead, only just now he's working on his army, only just now starting Roach speed as well.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're down to about 20 workers on average the entire game.
Yeah, pretty much. And at the same time, we have some Adepts going into the main base. We have the main army here outside the third as well. And Vivid, he's just getting split up.
Indeed, he is. Force field's not the best, but still good enough to sort of zone Vivid into sort of choke point where Saiko absolutely wants to take the fight. not enough Ravagers right now to really take out the force fields either. Completely splitting the army in two like this, that is what you love to see when sentries are on the map light.
Oh my god, exactly. Like, there are only minimal Ravagers. I say that there's one Ravager here, so force fields do so much when it comes to this army composition.
Literally the bare minimum of one Ravager.
Oh my god. And Vivid, he realizes this, he morphs in a couple more. Like, Ravagers are key when you're up against a sentry-based army like this, but even then, like, there's just 5 Immortals with this army. Jesus Christ, like, that does so much damage to Roaches.
Yeah, Saiko's been pumping up that production, and he's actually continuing to make more and more Immortals. Has realized that he can't quite rely on that for too long, so he is starting to get a couple of Archons, getting charged on the way as well. We're gonna get that transition to Beef Wave.
Exactly, that Beef Wave is on the way. We'll see if we even get to that, if Vivid is able to survive long enough, because now Saiko is pushing in.
Yeah, and this is a pretty good position for Vivid to try to flank into, but I just don't think he has the numbers for it.
Exactly, like the third base, it's gonna go down. Another one of the Ravagers goes down. He's trying to flank, he biles on top of the Warp Prism, but there just aren't enough Ravagers.
GG is called. Saiko, doing the reputation of Southeast Asian Protoss proud. He is going to be taking game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, these are the players that we're really looking at today, especially based off of what happened yesterday. Like, oh my god, they're really coming out strong here in winter.
Thukla, Leo Russia. Fun fact about Leo Russia that I didn't actually get to talk about yesterday because I wasn't casting. He knocked me out of the Singapore Online the last time I played.
Ah, that's how you know he's Singaporean.
Exactly. I mean, some Malaysians are allowed to play, but on a case-by-case basis.
Looking at you, Claire.
I didn't want to name names.
Speaking of which, Claire, I think he's asleep. I don't think he was. I don't think he checked in. God damn it.
Probably. All right. Well, I mean, was he gonna play Zerg or was he gonna play Terran? Trick question. He could only play Protoss.
Exactly.
If you wanted a chance of qualifying.
All right, we're just getting set up for game number 2. The players are ready. We are ready, and oh boy! So we're gonna be loading into another one of the newer maps, which I quite enjoy.
Yeah, one of my. I honestly haven't really played too much on this map. Well, to be fair, I haven't been playing much this season yet, but yeah, this is always somewhat of a treat for me whenever I get to see it. It is gonna be just Syntha, LE.
AKA Jagannatha or Yaganatha, or I don't look. No one knows. Mia-Mika.
All right. Well, speaking of Mia-Mika, here we have one of his biggest fans, although not Mia-Mika fan TM, but definitely someone who does like watching him. He is in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha. LE, the LE, of course, standing for Long Egg. Coming down from the land of Australia, he is a creative man himself, the streamer, currently teamless but representing OSC Elite. We have Vivid.
And spawning in at the bottom right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Singaporean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, currently representing Downfall Gaming. He's currently up 1-0 in this best of 3. Can he close it out? It is Saiko.
Oh boy. I definitely hope so, but while we're here in the early game, I actually want to posit a question directly to Vivid.
Oh.
When's the next piano stream, man?
Right, of course, for the people that are unaware, Vivid, the Australian Zerg, he's a pretty active streamer. I say that in recent times, he's kind of been on and off with it, but he doesn't just play StarCraft, he's also really creative, and he does like art streams and like piano streams as well.
Also dipping his toes a little bit into Valorant, at least back in the day, but yeah, I really do like tuning into his piano streams in particular. I find him kind of relaxing somehow.
yeah, it's really cool. I hope he does well. As a reminder, regardless of who wins and loses here in this series, there is a lower bracket. You know, these guys have got a second chance.
Yeah, That they do. They got a second chance to be one of the three. Hear it. 3 people who are going to qualify today. And it's a very short list. There aren't that many Southeast Asian Protoss players left, like.
Right, and oh my god, like we've been talking a lot about the Southeast Asian players, and I mean for good reason. But something that really like throws a spanner in everything is the fact that 2 of the top tier Australian players, in my opinion at least, are still in the bracket.
Ooh.
That being Azure and Pez.
I had to think, but yeah, I would agree with you there. I had to think for a second there, and I do definitely agree. In my heart, I want to say Oreo, but I do think that Oreo just isn't as experienced as those other 2. Pretty soon, though. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, like Azure and Pez, they're 2 of the players who at least we get to cuss a lot in, you know, our own weekly events, and it's like really surprising that they didn't make it through Qualifier 1. They're some of the best players in the region, and we kind of expect that from them. You know, again, we were talking about it, Southeast Asia really coming out strong here this weekend.
Absolutely. And, you know, another thing was, I was surprised when I didn't see Seether or Probe or Ender or Demi on the bracket, but then I remembered, oh yeah, they're seeded.
This is true. Is this intentional? What's happening here?
This is intentional. We are going to get a ninja / proxy base, or maybe not. Hello, Vivid? Okay, we are going to get some drones. I think he misclicked. I think he misclicked and he wanted to make lanes, but it's actually working out pretty well. You know, the mineral walking with the drones does allow him to get a little bit of a flank over there. And now just continuing to stream into more and more lanes. I do not think that Vivid's going to be able to break this, not with the shield batteries and not with the Oracle, but he does put a lot of pressure onto Saiko over here. And in the meantime, just droning up hard back home.
That he does, and my mistake for not like paying attention to to what was happening, because Vivid, he was actually trying to pull a solar. I don't know if
you were going to pull a segue there.
Yeah, I don't know if you realized this, but in GSL, I think it was GSL, Solar, he did the same thing where he pulled 3 drones, and it was to mineral walk through the Adept that's part of the wall, get on the other side of it, and then kill the Adept. But Saiko, he knew what was happening, and he just made the full wall off.
I remember that.
Yeah, it happened like a week ago.
2 months ago.
No.
From like 2 months ago. Like it.
It may have been in Kubo, in the King of Battles.
I think it was King of Battles, probably.
Yeah.
Still hasn't been GSL for a while.
But yeah, so Vivid, he was trying, that's what he was attempting to do, but Saiko, he saw through Vivid, he knew what was happening, and he, again, we still see it, he has just a complete wall, even getting another robot here to reinforce it as well.
Alright, time to all in now. He's stuck at these 2 bases left. No, he is actually going to be taking out one of these structures, so we know that Saiko, he does want to play out a macro game, he does want this to go into at least a mid game.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see that Saiko, he did go for a Stargate opener. He did go for these double adepts to begin with. Oh my god, so much DPS that he's even able to take out a queen, maybe a second queen.
Yeah, the Spore not quite done yet, and these drones are ripe for the pick and light. 2 of them already go down. I do worry a little bit about the energy. It seems to be running a little low, but you don't need that much energy to one-shot these drones, do ya? 10 workers go down once again. Saiko taking a fantastic lead in the early game.
Ooh, exactly. 10, not just 10 drones, but also the 3 earlier and the queen, sorry, the 2 queens that went down at the natural as well. Like, Jesus Christ.
Protoss Rising Light, that's all I gotta say at this point.
Hashtag Protoss patch.
Rising.
Yeah, hashtag Protoss in that pool. Oh my god. But we do have Saiko, he is expanding. You know, he didn't want to stay on those 2 bases for too long. To be fair, Vivid did force him to stay on 2 bases for a little bit, so the worker count isn't too, like, the disparity isn't too large.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Saiko, he is starting to get that 3rd Nexus up, and never ever want to underestimate 3 Nexuses with Chrono Boost, do ya?
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of potential pro production.
It's a lot, and we'll see what Vid's going to be able to do here in game number 2. Again, I do feel like he's in a little bit of a better position than game 1. I mean, sure, he lost 10 drones, but I mean, you know, he's already got his lair, he's already got roach speed on the way. It's going to all be done a lot faster compared to game 1.
Yeah, it definitely will. It's also got a much more stable economy, as it seems, so even if Saiko decides to be annoying with this Oracle, for instance, it's not going to be as, you know, as fatal as game number 1. But in the meantime, we do see that he is just building up back at home.
Yeah, definitely. We do see that he's, you know, main-arting some probes. He's continuing his probe production as well. And we do see already that transition into that beef wave. You know, Archons, Charge Zealots, they're all going to be on the way.
And I love this. You know, Saiko, he's not wasting any time with Adepts or what have you. He knows that there's no Baneling nest over there. Let's just go straight into Chargelets, Archons, Immortals. We're going to get a nice beef platter over here for your tasting.
Exactly. I was gonna say some, like, I don't know, some Singaporean like related beef. I don't know any.
But that's Vietnamese.
That's Vietnamese.
It's Vietnamese. We're not big on beef now. Beef rendang. Beef rendang.
Rendang. There you go. There you go.
You can argue that's Malaysian or Indonesian, and you know what? You would be correct. But we eat it here too.
You know what? Malaysian and Indonesian, that's basically Singapore, right? It's fine.
Exactly. I mean, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore, same flag pretty much. But speaking of which, Vivid, it's not looking too fine right now for Saiko. Vivid's moving across the map. His +1 range is about to be finishing up. And that's a lot of roaches. I do not think the beef wave is going to be ready in time for this tenderizer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Saiko, he's being a little bit greedy, already working on his 4th Nexus. So he's very much so investing in his production, in his macro. So his army is a little bit lacking. In saying that, though, there are still a couple of sentries that have a lot of energy. They can definitely, like, cut this army in half.
It definitely can. I do think that that's Saiko's best option here. How many Ravagers? Almost a Corrosive Vial. Let me take some two. Only 5 Ravagers at the moment for Vivid, so it should just about be enough based on the amount of sentries that are out, but not that many either. Saiko's really got to choose a good place to fight. Vivid coming in with this amazing flank. Force fields are decent, but it doesn't seem to be quite enough. Decent kiting coming out from Saiko, but does Vivid have too much?
It looks like so far he does, and Saiko, he avoids the fight, recalls all his Immortals to safety, cancels the 4th base, and from here, like, he's gonna try his luck at his natural. He has 2 shield batteries here. This is gonna be much harder to hold, and the counterattack!
It's a massive counterattack, and again, I'm just loving the decision-making from Saiko so far this series. He is playing it cautious. He knows when and where he can really take his fights, and exactly how to react based on where his opponent's army is.
Exactly. That was so smart, right? Where he realized that Vivid had the stronger army, so he just didn't fight. He just avoids the army, goes to the corner, recalls, and then just focuses on this harassment instead.
Yo, there's a lot of vulnerable tech structures. That spawning pool is looking pretty Funara right now.
Oh yeah, it's going to be going down. 100% it's going to be going down. And Vivid is not going to have any more links to reinforce this army. He's got 14, 16 on the way. And to be fair, like... maybe he can break Saiko here at the base, but look how many shield batteries he's throwing down.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. I think one thing that, you know, Vivid does have going for him is that Saiko, his sentries are running out of energy pretty dang quickly, but I don't think that's going to matter too much here. Both of them playing very, very cautious. They do not want to bite off more than they can chew.
Exactly, but Saiko, he's biting off a lot here in the main.
Where is the anti-air?
Oh my god, he didn't just kill the spawning pool, he killed the lair as well. Jesus Christ. And the Baneling nest, it's gonna slowly... Yeah, it's gonna slowly bleed out.
Okay, the creep hasn't receded just yet, but oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It is losing health.
It definitely is, and Vivid, he's forced back home. He realized that he couldn't break his opponent, he had to go and defend, and now Saiko can finally take this opportunity to take his 4th.
What a hole. Somebody get his application to Shield ready in the mail.
Right? That was legit. Like maybe one of the first Southeast Asian Shield members here for Saiko. And oh my god, only 2 biles, so this warping is gonna finish.
Okay. Vivid did realize they need a little bit more anti-air there, so a couple more biles did start to go down. And yeah, with that, the harassment is just about done. But meanwhile, I'm just looking at Saiko's army right now, late, and it's looking beefy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, another big seller run by over to the left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, the main army is pushing through the center. I will say that this center army, it is quite beefy, but it's also lacking in zealots. So it is looking a little bit vulnerable, but with the addition of this War Prism, he's going to be able to reinforce this army. He's going to look so good. And Vivid, can he hold?
Yeah, I think that is the question. With these Banelings, it should help out a little bit, but the sentries are now back with the energy. And it is a really good thing that Vivid does have some anti-zealot units out right here, because otherwise this is just going to be a beef wave that rules over the Roach Ravager. Alright, Saiko is cutting back quite a bit. These are still Soulings, mind you. Vivid has not quite been able to get that centrifugal hooks. Just because of how much harassment there's been on his side.
Yeah, the amount of zealot run-bys, Jesus Christ. Like, I feel like Vivid, he realized the vulnerability of Saiko's main army because there weren't any zealots there, and like he was able to push the army back, but he just can't defend everywhere else.
No, he cannot. And this is probably one of my favorite styles of Protoss to both play and watch light. It is that mass harassment of Warp Prism, and you can kind of tell Vivid's not quite used to this.
Yeah, exactly. Vivid, he's trying to split up his army, but like he kind of miscalculated, or he just doesn't have enough supply to spare because everything here in the main base is going to be going down. Meanwhile, the main army is looking to pounce upon the latest base of Vivid, but oh, it's getting a little bit distracted.
Yeah, I do like that Vivid is trying to set a little bit of a run by. These zealots will get cleaned out, but meanwhile this Archon, immediately turns around. I do not want to fight that.
Yeah, the Archon was looking kind of dicey there for him, and it looks like Saiko will catch up with this harassing force of Vivid. At the same time, another zealot run by, and slowly but surely, Saiko, he's just building up slowly for that big engagement, for that big push with his main army to just try and end it.
And it is looking so lively for him. He is up twice the army supply right now. I just cannot imagine a scenario where Vivid holds this unless Saiko gives him a lot of time.
I just realized Saiko has 2 warp prisms. That's how he's been able to do this. He just keeps warping in from the left and right, and that's it.
He's called, and Saiko, once again, I am a ASEAN Protoss player. I must qualify, or at least get close to qualifying. There we go.
Wow, GG, well played. I know we're big fans of Vivid here, but at the same time, you know, what can you do against a Southeast Asian Protoss player, you know?
Yeah, what can you do against a Saiko killer?
Well, I would say that Vivid was not a Saiko killer. That's what we need.
Oh, right, because because there are like 2 ways of going at that. You could be like, you could be like a killer that is Saiko, or somebody who kills. Yeah, okay, I got it.
And speaking of, you know, Saiko, he advances and he's going to be facing his opponent, and now this is up in the air. Who's going to win when 2 Southeast Asian Protoss players collide?
Just Southeast Asian Protoss player.
You're not wrong.
But that is correct, Light. We are going to be going into a PvP, that classic matchup, Singapore versus Malaysia. It is Saiko versus Ranger.